friends, it's Brittany from 4B Farms. I am finally back in the garden and I wanted to bring you along. We are actually digging up our sweet potatoes in that bed, and I wanted to show you some of the progress. I believe one of my last videos showed me planting my sweet potato slips, and it has been, normally sweet potatoes take about 90 to 120 days to mature. It's been a lot longer than 120 days for ours. I had already dug up a sweet potato plant about 3 weeks ago, and they just were not big at all, so I let them go a little longer, and today's the day we're gonna see and try to dig up the rest of the potatoes. I did want to apologize for being off of YouTube for so long. I believe it's been at least 4 weeks. Honestly, we just got real busy. You know, I homeschool my kids, and we have started that whole routine, getting in it. We started a new co-op. I've been also doing a Mom Connect at church, and then this last week we got sick. So we just have things on top of another, and it's just been really busy and hectic, and hopefully I can get in a better routine of making these videos for y'all, because fall gardening is almost in full swing. I have some starts I want to show y'all also and how they're doing. But first, let's get back to those sweet potatoes so I can show you how they've done. Okay, so I just wanted to remind y'all, coming into my gate, I have my 4 beds, and then to the left is where we planted our sweet potatoes. And we have already started digging them up. Now, please forgive me because it is just full of weeds and grass. And we've already dug up this corner one about 3 weeks ago, and they were super small. They were all pretty much about this size, honestly. And so we could have dug them up, and we definitely could use these. We can cut this up for stir fry and definitely use them, but we wanted to see if we can wait and let them grow a little more, and they have. We still have tons of small ones. We also have, it looks like, some pest damage. I am not certain, but that to me looks like maybe a mouse had been nibbling on them. So this is just 2 plants, so not too bad so far. Okay, here is another vine that I had already pulled up the whole plant, so I'm just trying to follow this one and try to dig up all of these little roots, because they do, see, like this vine right here is producing these smaller little sweet potatoes. And yes, these will not feed my family, but I do not want them just sitting in this dirt. For one, they'll start rotting, and for 2, they will also bring other animals looking for food, and I don't want that either. So I do not like to cut my vines off. I like to follow them along the plant to see if they had grown any other smaller potatoes that I need to get out. I also did want to mention, if you are digging up your sweet potatoes with your hands and not really using any shovels or anything, be careful about ants. I have ran into a lot of ants and have gotten lots of bites on me, and they hurt really bad, so just be cautious of that. Along with any other insect, there are tons of spiders, tons of hornworms, tons of bugs, all in and on the leaves and everything that I've been pulling up, so just beware, there's lots of bugs. Okay, so here is one plant. This is the main root, and if you can see, all along the vines, sweet potatoes are growing. So these all stayed on the vine. You can see, so there's quite a bit. But then I also dug up all of these. Some odd shapes. Oh, looks like a mouse got into some of that one. So this is my first year to grow potatoes, so I have never had pest damage. I'm not sure what to do about that. It's something I need to look into. It did not happen on very many of them, but some of them it did. So we will figure that out for next season. But I mean, all in all, I feel like this many potatoes from one plant. That is from another plant. I feel like out of, I believe, 4 or 5 plants that I planted this, I believe it was in April or May that we planted them. I feel like we've done pretty good. So I'm going to finish up digging these sweet potatoes up, and maybe in the next video I'll show you all of the potatoes that we have dug all together, and see how many pounds we have grown for the first time. I thought it was really fun. We really enjoyed it. My kids had so much fun digging them up and finding them everywhere. So I really recommend planting sweet potatoes, and we plan on doing it again next year. I was wanting to plant them more fall, but I believe I missed my window, so we'll probably have to wait until like February or March next year to do some spring potatoes, which is fine. These beds were already full. We didn't have a whole lot of space to plant them. As you can tell back there, all of our corn, like I said in another video, our corn did not do good, so that's all taken out. And I'll flip you around and show you some of the other beds and see how our fall and into the summer crops are still doing. I wanted you to bring you back over here. I'm standing right in front of my gate, so I have my 4 raised beds, and this was my tomato bed. I have pulled out most of all of my tomatoes except a few that they're actually still producing some tomatoes, so I have left them. They look very terrible at the top, like they've been eaten by tons of hornworms, but I'm just gonna keep letting them go and see if we can maybe get a few more tomatoes. I have also dug up another few tomato plants that were planted back there, and these are my pepper plants, and they are still coming right along, producing lots of bell peppers. We still have, this is another bell pepper that they're still producing. We have our Tabasco pepper that still has a lot on it. Now my cayenne peppers have really stopped. They have a few red ones on here that I'm going to try to let grow and harden on the plant and kind of dry up so I can use those seeds for next year. And then we have 2 more bell peppers down here. So now this bed was my zucchini and squash bed, and those planted out pretty fast over the summer, and I pulled those up really quickly because I wanted to see if I could do another session of tomato plants, and these are the starts that I had planted. There's 3 tomato plants in here. I've kind of let them gone wild, just laying down on the ground just to see how they do. I have one kind of propped up on this makeshift trellis, but they seem to be doing really well. They have tons of blooms. It's the end of September, and I feel like we can maybe get one more load of tomatoes, hopefully before our first frost day, and they still keep coming. Again, these are some other slits of tomatoes that we had planted, and they are still just blooming like crazy. Tons of blooms. And I actually had put in another sweet potato plant in this corner. I'm not sure if we'll get to it or not, just because we still got at least 45 more days before we can even see to dig these up. So I don't know if they'll make it before the frost or not. But then the green bean trellis. I have been coming out here day after day saying I'm going to pull up these green beans because they're all dead up there, and I was just letting them dry so I can save the seed. But it is coming back to life. I mean, it has blooms, and I just don't have the heart to pull it. I mean, if it keeps producing green beans, we're gonna still eat them. So I think I'm gonna let it go a little longer and see how much we can get out of it. And then we'll start to clear this bed out. So all in all, our summer is coming to an end, especially on the tomato plants. They're pretty much done with let's see, they're pretty much done other than a few tomato plants that I have left, just because these have actual tomatoes on them. So I'm not just gonna rip the plant up just yet. But I feel like it's doing well. We have done nothing to the corn. I have it all drying out over there because I'm gonna use it for fall decorations. And this right here, if you can tell, this is where our potato bed was, and we haven't done anything with it. We will be refilling, and I need to clean out these beds. You can tell this is getting all of the rain, and all the heavy water has pushed down all the soil, because we filled up these beds in the beginning with sticks and twigs and brush, and then we put all of our dirt on it. Well, it's slowly settling, which we knew would happen, and we'll just have to refill the beds. Probably not this weekend, but maybe next weekend. The next few weeks we'll be getting in some loads of dirt, so we will be amending our beds, and I will bring you along with that. I also wanted to show you our okra. So last year we planted 6 or 7 okra plants, and they produced so much. So this year I only planted 7, thinking we'd get about the same yield as we did last year. Well, when we went on vacation in August, they were starting to produce. When we came back, they were not producing at all. So I'm not sure what happened. As you can see, they have really tall stems at the top with no leaves really at all. Nothing that I've seen has eaten them off, but they're really just producing lots of stems on the bottom, which is fine. I just am not real sure why. It goes all the way up with really no leaves. It's still producing okra up there, but they are finally starting to produce. I can come out here every other day and maybe cut 3 or 4 a little bit bigger than this every other day. So it's starting to produce quite a bit. Hopefully I'll kick into high gear and just start producing a lot so I can pickle some. Okay, I did want to show you, so I have this small little greenhouse. I believe it's from Lowe's, and I have some peppers in here that I did not plant, and I just wanted to take care of them until they stop producing. I still have shishito peppers coming off. Sorry, my hands are so dirty. It's from digging the potatoes up, but I do have some starts. We have, let's see, all of these are backwards. We have some cabbages, some Brussels sprouts, and broccoli in this tray, and they honestly do not look great. I'm not real sure how well these are going to do. Last spring, 2 springs ago, was the first time I ever started planting from seed and growing anything, and none of my brassicas did well at all. So this is an area where I am having to learn a lot and just be really patient with myself, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just trying to learn from experience. So if y'all can just give me all the tips for brassicas, I would love that. They don't look great, but I feel like they will. Once we get the beds amended and get them in ground, I think they'll do a lot better. I have some onions growing from seed. We have some lemon balm, some radishes, some more kale, chamomile flower, and then the last row is onions. I've never grown any of these before, so we're just seeing how it goes and how they do. But I wanted to show y'all, I do have 2 trays full of brassicas that I am trying to grow and get ready for the beds once I get those amended. So I'm gathered up all of my sweet potatoes that look like something that's chewing on them or something. I'm giving them to the chickens, so we'll see if they like them. Now, I'm gonna be honest, my chickens are pretty picky on what they eat, but most chickens eat pretty much anything, so we'll see if they like them. But I do give a lot of my scraps from the garden to the chickens to see if they like to eat them. So we'll see if they eat them. But that's about all I have for In the Garden today. I just want to thank y'all so much for following along, and if y'all haven't, please like and subscribe to our channel. It just helps us get more content out there for you. If you can ask questions in the comment section, we'll try to answer them as best as we can, and just y'all keep growing, and I'm excited to hear about y'all's fall gardens and what y'all are planning and see how they're doing. But we'll just talk to you next time.